Hi guys, hope everyone's doing well. All right, so here's an update. If you watched my previous video from this morning, this baby came back vandalized today, and it came back with a slashed rear passenger side tire, and the seats were just completely slashed with a knife as well. Watch my last video if you want to see exactly what the damage was. Funny thing is, from all the comments, and I was just on the phone with my mom, and my mom was just asking me like, hey, how's your work day going? So I kind of told her what happened, and she was like, oh, send me a picture. I want to see what happened. So I sent her a photo, and my mom's hilarious. She goes, oh, this is 100% his girlfriend. His girlfriend, he pissed her off and she did this. And that seems to be the consensus in the comment section too. So just kind of funny, but what really happened, I don't know. And I truly don't really care to know either. And so, yeah, let me just share a few things and kind of go over some of the things that were mentioned in the comment section. So first and foremost, I think when incidents like this happen, like the thing that I try to do is, number one, leave all the emotions out of it. And two, like I don't need it to occupy space in my mind. So like I mentioned, one of the main things that I try to do is get as much documentation as I possibly can. So I messaged the guy and I asked what happened, and he responded with, oh, I was attacked this morning, and then the person who attacked me vandalized the car. And beyond that, I don't find any need to dig further into it. That's all I need. That's good enough, right? I don't need to know who did it or what happened or how it all happened. I just don't really care about that. And I mention this because I get a lot of messages oftentimes when hosts have incidents on the platform. And a lot of it is like the story of what happened. Like, oh, this guy said this, and then I asked him this, and like he wouldn't get back to me. And so my advice is to just leave the drama out of it. If it doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form, why occupy your time with it? Don't allow it to take up space in your head. You don't need to know the nitty-gritty details because it's just not going to make a difference. Whether it was, some random person that attacked this guy or it was his girlfriend, it makes no difference to me, right? Car came back. I have pre-trip photos. I have post-trip photos. He messaged me saying that he was attacked. And even if he didn't message me, even if he never told me anything, it really doesn't matter because all the photo evidence is there. I file a claim and that's that, right? So I just try to keep it as minimal as humanly possible to keep things easy for myself and stress-free for myself. I don't need to hear people's stories, right? And then one of the things that I tried with this situation, and it's something a lot of you guys have been suggesting, which often works well, is to settle it with the guest directly. I did message the guy, try to settle it with him directly, because as soon as I got the car, first place I went to was, of course, the tire shop. So got the tire done. Then I found an upholstery place and got a quote there as well. So I knew how much this was going to cost. I hit up the guy, told him, hey, if you want to settle it personally, it might be cheaper for you, save you some processing fees, etc. that Turo will charge. This is how much it's going to be. Let me know. If not, I'll file a claim. It doesn't matter to me either way because I have the standard protection, so no deductible on my end. Never heard back from him, which I often find that to be the case. So then what happened from there was, and I would love to know if any of you guys have experienced this today, is I actually went to go file the claim. I actually have been trying all day today. It's almost about 7 p.m. right now. The car came back around 7:30-ish this morning. I've been trying to file a claim and I continue to get an error saying that, sorry, something went wrong. So I haven't actually been able to get my claim in. So it seems like some sort of a glitch in the system, which is the first time I've experienced this. So I'm wondering if anyone out there has experienced this issue today. So in the meantime, what I did was, again, documenting everything is key. I tried filing the claim from my iPhone on both my Chrome and Safari browser. I tried filing the claim on my MacBook on both Chrome and Safari. I tried from a PC and I tried from an Android phone. So I don't think it's a device issue or an OS issue. It has something to do with Turo and on their end. I did document, I took screen shares as well as screenshots of me trying to do it and it not going through, so that if there is any issue with me getting this claim submitted, that I have evidence showing that the system wasn't working. So for the meantime, that's all I did. I contacted support. send them an email, let them know that, hey, this is the issue that I'm running to, so what do I do in this situation? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Now, another common thing that I saw in the comments section was that, you know, people like these types of instances kind of deter people from doing this type of thing. If you think that this is kind of stressful or a headache, I'm here to tell you that this is the easy stuff. This is cosmetic. This is the stuff that you can go get taken care of right away. It's the stuff that you want to worry about is things like body damage, because that means your car could be in the shop for a couple of days, for a couple of weeks, depending on what it is. So I would at any time prefer this type of incident over any type of accident or body damage or mechanical damage, because this stuff is so easy. So don't let it be daunting to you or kind of think of it as like, oh my gosh, this is such a headache. It's really not. It's super easy to take care of. I mean, yeah, it sucks that it happens, but that's the thing is with any business that you go into, and believe me, I've had many in all different types of industries, there's always going to be problems, and you always have to be a problem solver. You can't let it kind of drain you or pull you down, and you have to evaluate for yourself if your time and efforts and the types of problems are worth it for you. Not for me, it is. So I don't mind dealing with this stuff. For those of you that have been watching me, you've seen me go through all kinds of stuff, and over time, as you do it and you know who your tire shop is, you know who your body shop is, you get to know your vendors, it really gives you a lot of confidence in dealing with these types of issues, and it's really not as stressful as it may look. And then so in this case, car came back today. I actually have a rental for this car tomorrow, and we're going into the weekend. Today's Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday. So my upholstery person couldn't get me until next Tuesday. I was really trying to get it done today, but it is going to take a couple of days to get that done. So all I did was I messaged the next guest, you know, super friendly and forthcoming and transparent. And I just said, hey, I told him exactly what happened. This car just came back from a rental. It was vandalized. The passenger side seat was slashed with a knife, and I uploaded actually photos of the passenger side seat to his trip reservation. And I just offered him options. I said, if you don't want to take this car in this condition, I completely understand. You definitely shouldn't have to. And if that is the case, I can cancel this reservation and you'll get a full refund. However, if you decide to move forward with it, I just want to be transparent so that you know exactly what you're getting. These are my exact words to the guest. And so I uploaded photos, he took a look at them, and he was more than fine with taking the car. He said it's not a big deal at all, and that him and his wife are going to some retreat. So he was like, it's not an issue. So I get to move forward with my rental. Which is also why in this situation I mentioned in the previous video that, you know, I'm going to come out of pocket right away and get my tire fixed. Well, first of all, my tire was totally slashed. It's sitting on the rim. It wasn't holding any pressure at all. When I got in the car, when the guy dropped it off, it was at 0 PSI. So I don't want it sitting on the rim. I tried to put a quick little patch on it, and it was on the outer wall of the tire. It barely held air. Luckily, my tire place is just barely a mile from my house. So by the time I got there, I went from about almost 38 PSI down to, I think it was 11. So I just barely made it there, but I had to do that just to get it there. If the tire wasn't gonna hold any air, which I'll probably get this question, you have a couple of options, right? What I would have done was jacked up the car, pull the wheel off, and just take the wheel to a tire place and have them switch it off, put the wheel back on. Or you could get it towed. I mean, it's really up to you. If you got it towed, it would probably be at the expense of the renter. But you know what? I just like, I try to look for the fastest way to do things, and that was the fastest for me. So luckily the patch held just enough for me to get there, and you know, I was able to get the tires swapped out. And that's why I prefer in these types of situations to come out of pocket and to deal with it when it's kind of small stuff like this, is so that I don't have to cancel another booking and lose money, right? So that's the whole thing. I'm always looking at my bottom line. I want to make sure that I retain my revenue. Now, I am definitely not advising that when damages happen that you right off the bat come out of pocket and just pay for it and then wait for the claim to happen. That is not what I'm advising. It's just in certain situations, from my experience, I am comfortable doing that with certain things. For example, the tire. You could clearly see in the photos that it was slashed, and he said it was slashed. I have video of it leaking air. So I know that I'm going to be covered for that. So therefore, I don't want to have to cancel on another guest, and I'm comfortable with coming out of pocket for that. So you really have to evaluate for yourself what your situation is. It's just over the years of doing it for me personally, I'm okay with doing that with certain things. So that's kind of what's happened so far. I think another comment that I saw was that somebody had mentioned that, Turo should pay for a host time, like that they have to put in to kind of deal with these situations. And I disagree with that. I don't see any reason as to why they should have to pay for our additional time for when these types of things happen, because it's a part of the business, right? It's a part of the opportunity cost to have that opportunity. They can't control any more than we can if some guy's girlfriend is going to chase him with a knife and slash the seats. Like, there's just no way to really profile someone for instances like that. Sure, maybe other things like, if you're doing background checks and seeing if people have DUIs, which I think Turo already does this, then they're not allowed to drive on the platform. So to some extent, they can filter out people, but you can only do that so much, right? Same as me. This guy had excellent communication through and through. And I think he's like somewhat of a decent human being, because in his messaging, he told me what happened. He filed a police report. Long Beach police called me, so I know he's legit. He actually did file it. The police share the same exact details with me that he shared with me. And then in his final message to me, he said, just let me know what the insurance process looks like, or, if you need anything else from me. So, he made some effort to rectify the situation. So it's, to a certain extent, you just can't filter those people, and it's really not anybody's fault. So I don't think that Turo should compensate hosts for doing that, because it's just a part of the business. It's a part of the gig, right? These things are going to happen, and it's like in any business, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you own a restaurant and one of your fryers breaks down, no one's obligated to pay you for the time that's going to take for that fryer to recoup itself so that you can start making food again. And it goes for anything, right? Like, even if you're, lately I've been trying to get into day trading. Even if you're day trading, say you hold a position in Tesla, for example, next day Elon Musk is on Joe Rogan's podcast. He decides to smoke weed with Joe Rogan, take a hit of a blunt, and next thing you know, their stock price begins to crash. Like, there's just factors that are uncontrollable in everything that you do, and there's just things happen, and you just kind of got to deal with them because it's a part of the business. So that is the update on what has been happening so far and how the day kind of ended up going. Please do let me know if any of you guys have experienced that claims issue that I'm still trying to resolve. So I'll give you guys another update tomorrow on what happens. But I have not been able to get this claim submitted. I'm sure it's just a glitch on Turo's end, and it'll get sorted out. I'm not too worried about it, but that's that, guys. Another day in the life of doing Turo. And you know what? Things happen, and you just got to roll with it and work through it and move forward. That's all there is to it. All right, guys, take care, and I'll talk to you guys later.